Won't be long until the first voters get a chance to cast their first ballots, and the crowded GOP field will narrow. So back with me now, Scottie, Nell, Hughes, Van Jones, and Cheri Jacobus. Okay, guys, so I'm curious. We're about 6 weeks away from the Iowa caucus. That is a lifetime in politics, I think. But has the race come down, do you think, somewhat of a political Final Four? Trump, Cruz, Rubio, dark horse maybe Christie, Cheri?
Yeah, I think so. I think we know it's probably Trump, Rubio, Cruz. Christie, I think Carson is going to hang in there for a while, but I don't see how he lasts very long. And then the others will have to drop out. I wish they would drop out a lot sooner, frankly, not even the ones that don't have a lot of votes that they can offer. I think taking up that time on the debate stage when they're clearly there was a main show between several, just a couple of people. I hate to say that, they're all good people, but it's time. Yeah. It's time to narrow down this field a little bit.
Scottie?
Well, you want to sit there and look at Iowa. Iowa is the evangelicals. Ted Cruz is going to rule it. He was always going to rule it. Anybody who knows Iowa, who's looked at Pat Robertson and Santorum, knows that that state was already going to be there. But it's going to end up being 3, not 4, because in order for the establishment, which looks like to be Marco Rubio at this point, to survive, all of the others have to stay out. But in the end, you add up all of the categories, they still do not even begin to compete with the 39–40% that Mr. Trump has.
Mr. Jones?
Well, it's interesting. The language here, we talked about establishment versus the anti-establishment, the insiders versus the outsiders. I would say the moderates versus the extremists. You have a moderate lane of reasonable people who are more helpful in thinking about how to defeat ISIS. I would say in that lane you've got a Jeb Bush. In that lane you've got a Marco Rubio. And then you have a wing that sounds more hateful and is less helpful when it comes to dealing with Muslims. And in the extreme lane, you have a Ted Cruz, you have a Donald Trump. So there's 2 primaries going on. Who's going to represent the helpful wing, the wing that sounds helpful? Who's going to represent the wing that sounds hateful? And I think that Rubio is struggling right now. He cannot break through. He'd probably be the best in the general election. He's having a difficult time because you're right. There's not enough of a clearing of the field for the moderates.
But we're not talking
I love
about
how you're on the other
polls,
side
though.
defining us, to be honest with you. And that helpful wing, as you say, is what we've had for the last 8 years and have lost with. So, of course, you're going to call them helpful. I look at the other side. I look at the left, and they're also divided, except they are the socialists or they are the progressives. But in the end, they're all the same.
What we're looking at,
at
though,
least
what matters now is
Let Cheri get in.
Scottie, what we're looking at now are the polling in the states. The national polling that has Trump way ahead, really, the closer we get to Iowa and New Hampshire, really doesn't matter. When you look at how it is in Iowa, Donald Trump is going to lose
it's a caucus. Iowa does not matter. The last 2 people who have won it, Cheri, I know you like to use it,
Iowa
but you're going to turn on Ted Cruz.
Let her finish.
Donald Trump is going to lose Iowa. And
no, he's going to come in 2nd place. That's not losing, Cheri.
Well,
That's second. Okay. And you know what? Ted Cruz and Donald get along.
Sure, Scottie.
There's only one winner.
This is
Iowa, folks. Iowa.
Actually, there's a poll that has Trump in Iowa pretty much in a statistical tie with Rubio. So we'll see if Trump can even pull a second.
Wow.
Now,
out of 13 candidates.
Then
Give me a break.
Let her
what you're
finish.
looking
Where
at
did you
is
learn
New
math?
Let her
Hampshire.
finish, Scottie.
Then we're looking at New Hampshire. Now, with Trump coming
Number
off
1.
of a loss in Iowa, that gives Rubio or Christie.
It's not a loss.
Excuse me. That gives Rubio or
not
Christie a shot to then win New Hampshire. If Trump does not win either of those two states, he loses his entire talking points and his mojo. It's going to really, it's going to completely change the dynamic of this race.
Everyone gets a trophy here. Everyone gets a
him.
trophy because you come in number 1 or you can come in number 2 and you get a trophy. Quickly, Scottie, because I want to move on.
What I love is Cheri thinking that, first of all, coming in 2nd place, which is what Trump's going to come in, even 3rd with Rubio. They're all conservatives. Go to New Hampshire. Trump is going to be number 1. He's going to win the Rust Belt. The South, he does very well. I love how she loves to pick and choose what polls, but let me tell you this. She doesn't like Ted Cruz either. She's just using it because she doesn't like him less than what she likes Donald Trump.
Okay.
Well, I don't think
You're
you need
a proven
to put
hater,
words
Cheri.
I don't think you need to put words in my mouth on that front.
No, it's the truth.
I think that
well, if you're going to call her
Cruz
that, let her respond. Go ahead.
I think that Ted Cruz would be much more acceptable than Donald Trump, and I think that's a pretty
For
widespread sentiment among Republican primary and caucus voters. He has misstepped in the last few days. I think he's made a mistake. I think he's paying for it. I think by digging in his heels, he's paying for it even more. He got caught in a lie, essentially. He's either lying in 2013 or he's lying now. But I think he's a good man who has just gone astray a little bit, but he's giving the impression that he's been in Washington.
All right, stand by,
I think
Scottie.
that he can
stand
clean
by.
that up, and I think that
You
he's
can't
still
say
salvageable.
Scottie, please stand by. I respect all of you, but let's just keep the name calling to a minimum here.
No, I was going to say that Senator Ted Cruz is the most hated
think
man
is
on Capitol
appropriate.
Hill, and that's a good thing, and it's been confirmed.
Let's move
over
on
and over.
now. I want to talk this. My colleague Fareed Zakaria out with a new piece that he says something. The phrase he talks about, radical Islam, has nothing to do with defeating terrorism. All the Republicans attack the president over not using that terminology. Why is it so significant that it's called radical Islam? And Scottie, I'll let you weigh in on that first.
Of course, I'd expect that. Radical Islam, because you want to sit there and separate, say that there's good, peaceful Muslims, then great. Then let's call the ones that are not radicals. You've got to call them. You're so quick to judge and say extreme conservatives. Let's call it what these are, extreme radical Islamists. They still believe in the same God, but these guys have taken it to a different round. You want to separate them. You know what? The president needs to call it. It's only out of respect for who they are. Muslims call them extremist, a radical Islamist.
Go ahead, Van.
Yeah, I think
Call them what they are.
I think this is very, very important. To call these this death cult Islamic is to elevate them. It's actually what they desperately want to be called. And the fact that the president refuses to honor a death cult by associating them with one of our great religions is one of the strongest things that he has done to say, listen, I don't accept your claim that you speak for Islam. And it's very, very important. Part of what's interesting is if you actually know Muslims, we have 6 million Muslims in America. Dentists, doctors, people who own stores and restaurants. If you talk to those folks, you begin to understand the tone and tenor coming from the Republican Party is making Muslim parents very, very afraid for their children, afraid for their spouses. You have to understand at a certain point, this president's tone is a good thing. And the idea that we're going to be able to essentially cast aspersions against the entire faith, that's what you do when you call. Listen, last thing I'm going to say, I get emotional
Quickly,
about this.
I'm running out of time, and Cheri needs to weigh in.
But let me just say this: if I came on TV or anybody else came on TV and said a bunch of white guys were shooting up stuff, so therefore you're going to do something to all white people, I would be seen as a racist for casting aspersions against all white people. And that's why people get so upset when you cast aspersions against all Muslims.
Go ahead,
It's a small group.
Here's the thing.
Small group.
Words matter. Words matter a lot. And we have a president who refuses to call this what it is. We have a Republican frontrunner saying all Muslims need to be banned from this country.
No,
and that
all
scares
Muslim
people.
immigrants.
Hang on.
Get it
Scottie,
right.
Scottie, please don't interrupt so much. Let her
we
finish.
have her to tell the truth.
Let her finish, and you've had your chance.
We have a president who will not call this what it is, and so it should not surprise anyone that the American people are scared and confused, and they don't trust their elected leaders. We have Hillary Clinton wanting to run. She's a front runner on the Democratic side. She refuses to call it radical Islamic terrorism, which is what it is. So both sides are messing up on this. The American people deserve better. They deserve better from their president. They deserve better from their candidates running for president. And you can't blame the American people for being confused on this because our leaders are failing us.
Last word. Thank you very much. Coming up, the man who says the lesson of the debate is